A humble man returned a woman's purse, unaware that she was a millionaire and owner of everything. The morning was grey and cold when Daniel Carter pulled his worn jacket tighter around his shoulders and began his usual walk to work. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments where in the world are you watching from. Daniel was a janitor at Maplewood Shopping Complex, a sprawling building filled with luxury stores, restaurants, and offices that hummed with the energy of wealthy people living wealthy lives. He had worked there for 11 years, always arriving early, always leaving late, always doing his job with quiet dignity, even though most people walked past him without a second glance. He earned just enough to pay rent for a small apartment and send a little money each month to his elderly mother in the countryside. Life was not glamorous for Daniel, but he had never once complained, because his mother had raised him with one golden rule: your character is the only thing that truly belongs to you. He carried that lesson every single day like a torch inside his chest. That particular Tuesday morning, as he was sweeping the marble corridor near the main entrance of the complex, something caught his eye near one of the polished benches. A sleek black leather purse sat alone, slightly open, as if it had been set down in a hurry and forgotten. Daniel looked around, hoping to spot someone rushing back for it. But the corridor was almost empty at that early hour. He picked it up carefully, the way you pick up something fragile, and looked inside just enough to find identification. What he saw made his breath catch. There were stacks of crisp $100 bills neatly bundled together, a passport, several platinum credit cards, a thick envelope sealed with a wax crest, and a business card that read, Eleanor Voss, Chief Executive Officer, Voss Holdings International. His heart beat faster. He had heard that name before. Everyone in the city had. Eleanor Voss was one of the wealthiest women in the country, a self-made billionaire who had built her empire from nothing. And she was, as many whispered, the silent owner of the very complex where Daniel worked. He zipped the purse shut immediately. He did not count the money. He did not take a single bill. He did not even hesitate for one moment. He walked straight to the security desk, explained what he found, and handed it over, asking them to contact the owner. The head of security, a stiff man named Gerald, who had never been particularly kind to Daniel, looked at him with obvious suspicion. "You found this and you're just handing it in?" Gerald asked, eyebrows raised. Daniel looked at him calmly and said, "It doesn't belong to me." He went back to his work, sweeping floors and polishing railings as he always did, thinking nothing more of it. 3 hours later, a sleek black car pulled up to the entrance, and a tall, sharp-eyed woman in an elegant grey coat stepped out. Eleanor Voss moved through the complex, like someone who owned it, because she did. She had been in the middle of an important board meeting across town when she realized her purse was missing, and her personal assistant had nearly had a panic attack because the sealed envelope inside contained a critical signed document worth millions. Security met her and explained that a janitor had found and returned the purse untouched. Eleanor asked to meet him. Gerald found Daniel wiping down an escalator, railing, and told him the owner wanted to speak with him. Daniel straightened his uniform, walked over, and stood before Eleanor Voss without any nervousness because he knew he had done nothing wrong. Eleanor looked at him for a long moment, studying him the way someone studies a rare and unexpected thing. "You found my purse this morning," she said. "Yes, ma'am," Daniel replied. "Did you look inside?" "Only enough to find a name and contact, ma'am." "There was a great deal of cash in there," she said, still watching him. "I know," Daniel said simply. "It wasn't mine." Eleanor was quiet for a moment. In her decades of business, she had encountered people who flattered her, people who tried to impress her, people who wanted something from her at every turn. But here was a man who had held a fortune in his hands and put it down without blinking, not for reward, not for recognition, just because it was right. She asked him his name. She asked how long he had worked there. She asked about his life, his background, his education. Daniel answered everything honestly, without exaggeration or self-pity. He told her he had some college education, but had dropped out when his father got sick to support the family. that he had worked at the complex for 11 years, that he liked his job because it kept things clean and order mattered to him. Eleanor reached into her purse, now safely back in her hands, and pulled out one of her business cards. She wrote a number on the back and handed it to him. "Call this number tomorrow morning," she said. "Ask for my personal office manager, Linda. Tell her Eleanor sent you." Daniel looked at the card, then at her. "What is this for, ma'am?" Eleanor almost smiled. "Consider it the beginning of something better." She walked away and left him standing there, card in hand, confused but calm. He almost did not call. He almost convinced himself it was some misunderstanding or perhaps a polite gesture that meant nothing. But his mother's voice rang in his head. "When God opens a door, walk through it with your back straight." He called the next morning. Linda answered and said she had been expecting him. Within the week, Daniel was called in for a formal meeting at the headquarters of Voss Holdings. Eleanor had spoken with her human resources team and her operations director. She needed an honest, dependable man to oversee the facilities management division across all her properties. A senior role with a real salary, benefits and a future. She offered Daniel the position. He sat across from her in that glass office and asked why she trusted him with something so significant. Eleanor leaned forward and said something he would never forget. "I test the character of the people I hire every single day," she said quietly. "Most people don't even know they are being tested. You were never trying to pass. You were just being yourself. That is the rarest thing I have ever found." Daniel accepted the position with steady hands and a full heart. He called his mother that evening, and for the first time in years, he heard her laugh with relief. He moved her into a better home. He hired someone to care for her. He went to work every day, not sweeping floors, but building systems, managing teams, ensuring that every property under Eleanor's name ran with the same quiet dignity he had always brought to his own. Small corner of the world. People often ask what the secret is to a better life, as if it is hidden in some complicated strategy. But Daniel's story whispers the oldest truth. There is, be honest when no one is watching. Be kind when there is nothing to gain. Do the right thing even when it costs you nothing, and even when it costs you everything. Because the universe has a long and careful memory, and goodness always finds its way back home. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that integrity is its own reward, please show your love and support by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel Kindness True Stories, where every story is a reminder that the world still has good people in it, and that one act of honesty can change a life forever. Thank you for being here.